Here's your God Call with Reverend Bill.
Do you know what would have happened if during medieval times there had been a transatlantic fiber optic cable? Do you know what would have happened if during biblical times there had been a network of communication satellites flying overhead able to connect people all over the world with each other? Well, nothing would have happened because the people on the ground didn't understand the technology, didn't know how to use it, and didn't know how to make use of the resource that was available. And that's the clue. What gifts are available to you to access right now? That's you, Bernard.
Another Indiana sunrise. Hey, hey. Cornfield stretching far as the eye can see. With all the folks I know here been good to me. Found some friends, found my music, found myself. I hit my knees every night. I talk to God above. One night, God, He talked back to me. Said, ain't it clear to see? It's time to go, son. You're bound away from here. Family needs you. Off you go. Back to the Appalachian Mountains you love so. Iron boats on horizons, heavy loads. Steaming back to some coast continental. I can hear those hills, Tennessee calling, calling me home again. Saying where you been, boy, you don't have to roam, my friend. I can hear those mountains calling me. I can hear family calling me. First Pennsylvania sunrise. Hey, hey. Allegheny Mountains, far as the eye can see. Lord, I pray the years here are good to me.
Thank you, Bernard. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And good morning, New Thought, Philadelphia. Welcome to Independence Day weekend from the city that invented it 246 years ago. We will be getting into a little bit of detail about that, trying not to brag too much for our friends who are zooming in from the UK. Nothing personal. You guys know the rules on Zoom. Keep yourself muted. except when you're sharing or speaking and or making a joyful cacophony. Like right now, go ahead and unmute and repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to
love.
love.
I open myself to joy.
I
I
open
open
myself
myself
to
to
joy.
joy.
I claim my independence.
I claim
my
my
independence.
independence.
I know love is right here, right now.
I
Love is right here, right now.
And so it is.
It is.
Yeah, practice one more time with the mute button. I will remind you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. So whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you to our Zoom today, wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you, and welcome home. The stuff that we believe, which you don't have to believe, it just makes it more convenient to understand where we're coming from with all of this. We believe that there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we are each using that power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. We will get into more details on that later. The way that we say it around here, your new life begins with a new thought. If you have an electronic device nearby that might make a disturbing noise, distracting you or pulling your attention away from this connection that we have amongst each other, go ahead and turn it on shush for the next hour or so. I'm Reverend Bill Marcioni. Our music today is by Bernard Sarkissian, who's up in Massachusetts. My brother lives just outside Boston. He thinks that they invented American history there. He and I have a little bit of a dispute because I'm in Philadelphia. Our practitioner today is Joe Catanzaro, RSCP, who's going to open us up with a prayer.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see everybody. Take a deep breath, settle in. Open up that channel to the divine that we all have. And know with me that there is one power, one presence. It is the one mind, the one love, intelligence, the creative principle. It's peace, it's joy, it's harmony, it's wisdom, it's abundance. It's the creative power behind all life, each one of us, everything we share the world with. Its substance is our substance. Its spirit is our spirit. Its mind and its intelligence is within us. Its presence lives within us. So we connect and we share all of that with each other and with the one and with everything else in life. We might be independent emanations, but we're all connected. This time together is blessed. We open up our hearts and our minds and our spirits to share with each other that inner truth of each of us. Allow it to fill us and flow out of us. We give it and we take it, we share it, and we keep it for our own. And we expand both individually and collectively with that flow back and forth. So for all of this good that each one brings and that we share between us and everything else, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all the good that we create with our meeting here today. The music, the words, the laughter, the talk, connection across miles that we're allowed to, that we can now produce. So I'm grateful for all of this, and I release my word to the law. I claim it, I allow it, and I accept it for each one here. And as I release to the law, I know that it will do what it always has done, and that's say yes. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Joe. So we love prayer work stories, and that's basically when you're doing a prayer, the intention is not to earn a God point. or to say that you've done a prayer. It's actually to create a different experience in your life. So who has a prayer work story that you would like to share? You can go ahead and raise your hand, either electronically or physically. Joe has demonstrated the electronic hand raise. Go ahead, Joe.
So my dad's been in a rehab for the past week, and he's probably got, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, 2 weeks left if he needs it. So it's pretty clear that he can't go back to the place that he was living before. And fortunately, I think I found a new place. There's an opening, and we know the place. It was where my mom lived. So I just hope that all works out. I think it will. I really think it will, but not signed on the dotted line yet. And the other thing that goes along with this is he's very, very confused, but he's in a nursing home for the rehab. And there's this younger guy that I don't know why he's there. He seems pretty competent to me, but he's there. And he's like taking my dad as his little, he protects him. He sits with him and has lunch with him, and he protects him, and he's buddies with him. So it's like, it's just so nice when I leave and he's saying, "Take me with you. I want to go home." Bob is there to like to talk to him. So I'm really grateful for that. And thank you.
That's beautiful, Joe. Thank you. Yeah, I love that. So I got one that I'm going to share, and then Breen. So one of my ongoing prayers for New Thought Philadelphia is connection among community, to build that richness and depth and the interconnection. So we've been doing the spiritual practices class at Exhale Massage Therapy and Yoga, where the owner is Sarah Martin, who I have known for 10 or 12 years. And Sarah's been doing her advanced yoga teacher training at the Himalayan Institute. It's a 300-hour, 2-year course. And she goes there whenever she has a chance. One of the students who's in the class, who's been present with us at the Exhale in Narberth, is Jennifer Kerrigan, and Jennifer seems to be joining the meeting right now as if this is a cue. Jennifer wasn't in class last week because she was going on a retreat at the Himalayan Institute, and I saw Sarah on Wednesday, and she said that she was taking a little retreat at the Himalayan Institute, and I said to myself, this will be fun. So it was completely delightful and unsurprising when I got the text with the picture from Jennifer of the two of them standing next to each other in the dining hall at the Himalayan Institute. It just touched my heart. It's one thing. So Jennifer, I told your story, but you can tell it from your perspective anytime you want. Breen.
For Christmas, we'd given my granddaughters a voucher, if you will, for a fun day at Dutch Wonderland. So the day came, we got tickets, and we brought them here, and they spent the night Monday and all day Tuesday. We were at Dutch Wonderland. And there's been a new development with the girls that they've been getting some car sickness and motion sickness. And my daughter had me all prepared with, they're wearing patches, they got C-bands, Dramamine, and look out for this and that and the other thing. And I'm thinking, oh great. Here's a 45-minute ride home, and then a 90-minute ride just to the amusement park, and then all day on rides, and a 90-minute ride back home. And I said a practical prayer about harmony and wonderful digestion and equilibrium. And we had a great time. Just an awesome time, 2 90-minute rides, all day on rides and roller coasters, and no one felt ill at all. And I got to ride a roller coaster 3 times in a row because of their height. They had to be accompanied, and Jane wasn't going. So I just sat in the car when it pulled in, and I didn't get out, and people were looking at me, and I'm like, hey, I'm going again, sorry. And I got to ride 3 times in a row without getting out of the roller coaster. So that was fun.
That is a prayer work story. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Breen. And we got some announcements. We're going to hear some announcements from Sandy.
This skyrocket of information is on our website at newthoughtphilly.org. and in our weekly e-newsletter. Please sign up on the website so we can keep in touch. Twice a day, we have a community check-in and meditation on Zoom. Everyone is welcome. They're inspiring and fun and quick, less than 15 minutes start to finish. Episode 56 of Reverend Bill's Practical Prayer Podcast is Gratitude. It's on Apple, Google, Spotify, or Stitcher, and you can watch the live stream of the recording session on Monday at 1 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. The 107th World Congress of the International New Thought Alliance is Monday through Thursday, July 18 through 21. Reverend Bill will be in person in Chicago, and you can take part online. Evening sessions are free for a love offering, and you can register at newthoughtevents.org. Reverend Michelle Wadley is leading a program on Dancing with the Shadow, a prayer-led path to wholeness. It includes a Saturday workshop and 4 Monday evening classes. Our second annual tie-dye party and picnic is on Saturday, July 30th from 3 to 7 p.m. We'll be at General Wayne Park in Marion Station. Register online to get all the details. Follow our social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and join the 1,007 spiritual adventurers in our group on meetup.com.
It's now up to 1,021.
Whoa. The Power of 8 Intention Circle meets on Zoom every Monday at 6:30 p.m. And the Women's Circle meets on Zoom on the third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. Please contact me, Sandy, for information on both of those. The Spiritual Practices class is having a summer unexpected income club. It's open to all. Sign up online, say the daily prayer, and when extra moolah flows your way, share the story and donate 10% to New Thought Philly. We're grateful for your tax-deductible donations by PayPal, check, Venmo, Cash App, and now Zelle. Thank you to the production team and presenters who make our Zoom celebrations work and have fun doing it. There's a short technical rehearsal before the celebration on Sunday. To join the team, contact Carla Ann. Next Sunday is online with What If? Reverend Bill takes us into the pivot and the way we can move from what was to what can be. Live music by Avi Wishnia. Reverend Bill and the practitioners offer professional spiritual coaching and practical prayer by appointment. After the celebration, Joe will be available for a quick miracle in a minute prayer at no charge. And we'll leave the Zoom meeting open for people to talk among ourselves after our service.
Thank you, Sandy. And I also want to acknowledge that I fully well expect that this is the last Sunday celebration where we will be joined by our practitioners in training, Carolyn and Jesus. And the reason for that is that next Saturday is the oral panels, and I am completely confident that they will be back here next Sunday as practitioner interns. Woohoo! Looking forward to that. Wonderful stuff going on. If there is anybody who is here for the first time, or if you feel like you're here for the first time and you'd like a little bit of a blessing, go ahead and raise your hand and let us single you out. And the rest of us are going to send some love. Rub your hands together. Build up some warmth. You are the bright light of God's love. Thank you so much for shining that light and sharing that love with us today. And welcome. So as Bernard sings the next song, go into gallery view and just take a look at the people who you're in community with. My participant panel tells me there's 24 of us now. I can see at least a couple of places where there's 2 people on a camera, so it's even bigger than that. And just connect with the rest of the community. Bernard, you're going to have to unmute. Bernard, you're muted.
Sorry, Bill. Song about my family, about my brother and sister who this time of year always brings me back to holiday and how we used to walk together. I still remember long summer mornings, lying in bed, rain softly falling. My sister and I would sit side by side, we'd look through a book about Chincoteague Island, and we'd jump up and laugh, run right outside, pretend that we're ponies on Chincoteague Island. We'd stomp, then we'd whinny, shake back our manes, canter along the sweet summer rain. So I look to the east, mare's tails are flying. I saw the ponies on Chincoteague Island. Chincoteague Island, a wave of my hand. See my sister and I as we're walking the sand. I still remember late autumn evenings. I sat by a fire with my big brother reading. He would read in hushed tones from Poe's Telltale Heart, of Ichabod Crane walking home in the dark. And we'd shiver and shudder, giggle with fright, watching the shadows as they danced in the light. I'd gaze at the embers, half hypnotized, watching the sparks as they climbed in the night. So I look to the east, mare's tails are flying. I saw the ponies on Chincoteague Island. It's Chincoteague Island, a wave of my hand. I see my brother, my sister and I walking the sand. So I look to the east, mare's tails are flying. I saw the ponies on Chincoteague Island. It's two if I see, it's one if I land. My sister, my brother and me walking the sand.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Bernard. Wow, that was terrific. The Flames of Faith, presented today by Sue Smith. I'm not going to say anything about the ducks.
We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call Spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candles, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. Our reading today is from Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements, that classic. It's presented by Winnie.
Hello. Today's reading is from a book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and this is coming from the second chapter. Be impeccable with your word. The first agreement is the most important one, and also the most difficult one to honor. It is so important that with just this first agreement, you will be able to transcend to the level of existence which I call heaven on earth. The first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. It sounds very simple, but it is very, very powerful. All the magic you possess is based on your word. Your word is pure magic, and the misuse of your word is black magic. The human mind is like a fertile ground where seeds are continuously being planted. The seeds are opinion, ideas, and concepts. You plant a seed, a thought, and it grows. The word is like a seed, and the human mind is so fertile. The only problem is that too often it is fertile for the seeds of fear. Every human mind is fertile, but only for those kind of seeds it is prepared for. What is important is to see which kind of seeds our mind is fertile for, and to prepare it to receive the seeds of love. Just imagine what you can create with the impeccability of your word. With the impeccability of the word, you can transcend from the dream of fear and live in a different life. You can live in heaven in the middle of thousands of people living in hell because you are immune to that hell. You can attain the kingdom of heaven from this one agreement. Be impeccable with your word. Thank you.
Bernard?
Okay, I'm gonna do a song about people coming and going from our country. Statue of Liberty, tell me what's wrong, my friend. I see you walk away. Shake your head. You say they're sowing seeds of fear. They should sow seeds of love. I see the shining tears as they fall from high above. So catch them at the border, send them back to where they're from. We don't need no refugees, we gotta take care of our own. Catch them at the border, imprison one and all. You won't find no love here, bridges, walls. So what of these innocents? What of these little ones? You think the loving God would have us imprison them? What would the lady say as she stands at the harbor gate? Wouldn't she welcome them? Wouldn't she let them in? Catch them at the borders, send them back to where they're from. We don't need no refugees, we gotta take care of our own. Catch them there, cage them, take the children from their moms. You won't find no kindness here, so send them back to where they're from. Can be different. Open up the borders, welcome one and all. That's enough for everyone. We must build bridges and not walls. Open up the borders, loving everyone. Welcome all. Welcome all.
Oh, thank you, Bernard. Beautiful, beautiful. Independence Day weekend. Today is July 3rd. It's July 4th of July, Independence Day. The same thing. When I was growing up, I was taught that the Declaration of Independence was written by Thomas Jefferson in Philadelphia in the summer of 1776. And then I moved to Philadelphia, and we don't think of it that way. We think of it as it was written by Thomas Jefferson at 7th and Market in 1776, because this is a local event. And Thomas Jefferson, I mean, the rhetoric that he used was pretty spectacular. Second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence: we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is a big, bold claim, especially the way that he teed it up. We hold these truths to be self-evident. If you want a rhetorical gimmick that will just add some oomph to your words, you say, what I'm saying now is obviously true. This has to be true, and everybody agrees that what I'm about to say is true. That's what we hold these truths to be self-evident means. And of course, in the paragraph before that, he said that when it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which connected them with another, then they just get to do that. That had never happened before. That had never in history, there has no colonies that had ever broken away from the colonizing power before. So he said, okay, we're breaking up, and we hold these truths to be self-evident that we're allowed to. So, like I say, pretty bold for him. And, there's been some interpretation about the meaning of the words, and the reading was from the Four Agreements: be impeccable with your word. So Thomas Jefferson was actually saying something there and claiming that it had to be true, even though it wasn't true. So what's up with that? Was he lying? Was he using hyperbole to tell a story that wasn't true? Was he being aspirational? Was he saying something that he believed could be true? And that goes, in a lot of cases, to intent, but even more importantly, it goes to consciousness. When we say something like, we are all endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that can be aspirational. Maybe we haven't done such a good job so far, but that's who we are claiming to be. That's who we are intending to be. That's when we're opening ourselves up to a brand new possibility. It becomes hyperbole when we say it and we don't know if it's going to be true or not. We have some doubt. It'd be nice if this were true. It's not, but I'm going to say it's going to sound good. And we'll see how it lands and see what kind of trouble it causes in the mind of the person who it's being said to, because they might have a reaction to that. And of course, then there's lying. If we're just saying stuff that we know isn't true, it's because we don't want people to think that we're the sort of people who would say what is true about us. So we just make it up. And we've had some experience with politicians recently just using some combination of aspirational, hyperbolic, or lying to spread the stories that are going around. Don Miguel Ruiz says, be impeccable with your word. And that's just not be truthful. That means say what you mean and mean what you say, and be willing to own it. Stand right there in the middle of whatever the claim is that you're making and be that truth. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And a lot has been made of the fact that Thomas Jefferson at the time owned slaves. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, created equal. Well, on a slave plantation, there was a significant power differential between the slave owners and the slaves. There was a certain lack of liberty that was not endowed to everybody who was there. And then there's, all men are created equal. And we take that to mean all humankind is created equal. So that's what he meant. And we update the language of the Declaration of Independence, because obviously that's the truth. In the same way that when Ernest Holmes wrote the Science of Mind textbook, he used the word he a lot when he's talking to about everyone. And certain times various groups have wanted to relanguage Ernest Holmes' writing to make the language more modern. At the time, all men are created equal meant all white men were created equal, and just men, because women did not have any rights at that point. They were superseded by the rights and directives and power of men. And it wasn't just white men. There were some white men who were not in the party then either. So it was actually white Anglo-Saxon men. So if you take it that what he meant was that all white Anglo-Saxon men are created equal, and this was Thomas Jefferson and the leaders of the American colonies, all white Anglo-Saxon men, bitching to the king, another white Anglo-Saxon man, that we want this freedom. Were they like leaving out everybody else? Were they leaving out all of the people of color? Were they leaving out all of the women? Well, to my mind, no. All are created equal is what that means as far as I'm concerned. All are created equal, endowed with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And it doesn't say we're guaranteed happiness. It says we're allowed to pursue happiness. So whatever it is going to make us happy, we can give it a shot. If it doesn't work, it's on us. And there have been so many examples where life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness has not been granted to all of us. George Floyd, a couple of years ago, lost all three: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's not the way he wanted to spend Memorial Day weekend. And the reason that I bring this up, because there's all of the turmoil that's going on now. We have a new Supreme Court that's flexing its muscles and showing that we can reinterpret laws the way that they used to be. And maybe it turns out the Declaration of Independence did mean all white Anglo-Saxon men are created equal and everybody else is an asterisk. I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. I think that words matter. I think that intent matters. I think that the way we understand those words matters. And what I invite each of you to do is decide what those words mean to you. What's the world that you want to live in? What are your unalienable rights? And claim them. Claim them. These are the Declaration of Independence does not say that somebody gave us these rights. It says that we have them. We were born with them. That's the truth of who we are. So what's the truth of you? What's the truth of you? What's that good that you're claiming now? Because the words do matter. And if people are trying to reinterpret the words and tell you what the words mean, or what somebody else thought the words meant all those many, many, many years ago, that in the days of muskets, when the when the Second Amendment was passed, that meant that 18-year-olds with mental problems should be able to get AK-47s. There's still room, I think, for interpretation. What's my world? What world do I want to live in? Because we get to claim it. We get to claim the world that we choose to live in. I choose a world where all persons are created equal, with the unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that looks different for everyone. And the key part is, this is not a talk about politics. This is not a talk about news and current events. This is an opportunity to use the observation of current events and the things that are going on in our world around us to remind us that consciousness matters. Political activism is wonderful, and it's important, and it's things to get involved in. You can donate to a cause, you can volunteer to do whatever work in the world you are called to do. And the most important thing to do is, in consciousness, to choose what is the world that you are living in. What is the world that we want to live in together? Because what happened when Thomas Jefferson wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all are created equal," with certain inalienable rights. That started something happening. I believe that it was aspirational. I think that he been trying to tell a story and sell a bill of goods. I think that he and the rest of the founding fathers believed that, and in the broader sense, including that owning slaves, even though it was economically important, was inhumane and personally unacceptable. And Thomas Jefferson got to go through his own personal transformation about that. He hadn't by the time he wrote the Declaration of Independence. So yeah, definitely aspirational. But isn't that what a practical prayer is? Ernest Holmes tells us that we can look a fact in the face and know something better. And while I'm sitting there looking the fact in the face, whether it is a challenging situation with a loved one, or a financial challenge, or a diagnosis, or another bump in the road, or a difficulty or a crisis, I can use that experience to describe where I am now. We can all do that. We can also all say, this is my current situation and it is not going the way I like it. It is not where I want to be. It is not the way I want to be living. And we can also claim and know and understand and state and be very clear that's not the truth of who we are. That is the current experience that we have been having recently. That is current state. That does not define where we're headed. That does not necessarily define who we are, unless we decide to keep it. Unless we decide that whatever situation I'm in, for whatever reason, okay, it's never going to change. And then, of course, we create our new experience and it seems to never change. But it's not because it can't change. It's just because that's where we are with it. That's where the doubt comes in. And we, each of us individually and all together, have the ability to claim something new. Taking it back to principle. There is one infinite creative power that creates everything. Everything. In the beginning, there was just that one creative power. And it began creating and continued to create. And it continued to share itself, and it continues to share itself as every part of its creation. Everything is that divine presence taking its own particular and specific form. Includes each of us. Each one of us is an individualization, a personalization, a particularization of that infinite creative power. And we're using it. And we're using it, we'll say, when we say, I'll never succeed. And we're using it when we say, I have an inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So get involved in creating the experience that you are seeking. It is possible that the still small voice of spirit, once you say, this is what I'm claiming, is going to tell you, this is yours to do. These are the steps on the road for you to be taking next to get into that next experience. There was some stuff to be done in the world after the Declaration of Independence was written. There was the king didn't take it well. So there was a bit of a disagreement for a little while, and we worked it out. And the same thing happens when we set a new intention in consciousness. We create something new, and then it starts to unfold, and then we get to be involved in whatever that unfolding is. So be clear about what it is that you're inviting. Be willing to step in and be that good that you wish to see in the world. And together, each of us individually and all of us together are bringing in new good. That is what independence is. We are free to choose and free to move and free to use that creative power. So choose and use it well, because we all deserve the good that's on our way now. So it is. Thank you. Bernard? Bernard, did I not talk long enough?
Sorry. I'll learn one of these years. The journey has been daunting at times, but to have you at my side makes all the difference. You just a stranger. I'm walking through this world. In time I turn around, see that there's another stranger walking by my side. You're searching for something you're not sure of. Stranger says, help me find some peace. And I say, I don't know, 'cause I'm looking too. If you'd like, you can walk with me. You've got to walk a while with me. Somewhere down the road, you know, we just might see, between silence and words, the songs of the birds, just may find that very peace we seek within our hearts. Let me hear you. You, So Bill and I, we walked on together. He spoke to me of fears and needs. A friend talked to me of battles with the demon, trying to feed those endless flames of greed. You're searching for something you're not sure of. My friend says, can you help me find my peace? And I say, first lay down that bottle and that needle. Come and walk the road with me. You've got to walk a while with me. 'Cause somewhere down this road, you know, we just might see, between silence and words, songs of the birds, just may find that very peace we seek within our smiles. We are searching for something. We're searching for something. My friends, searching for stormy skies. People, they're hurrying towards houses and your fancy cars. There are clouds above me, but they're raining silver. Golden peals of thunder in my heart. You are searching for something. I am searching for something. Searching for something.
Thank you, Bernard, and thank you, Dr. Reverend Bill. So you can take some of the words that we've just heard, concepts, and do some meditation on them. And as I listened, I thought, okay, Thomas Jefferson looked at the world and he saw something better. It may not be true yet, but he set that intention, and there was creative power behind his words. So it's not perfect, but it's not exactly the same as 1776. So I'm going to paraphrase the Capital One ad and say, what's in your consciousness? And I thought we could think about that, and thinking about and knowing that there's creativity behind that. It's got to have the consciousness to create the words, to paint the picture, to set the intention. It's the, I can't remember the term. Can't remember the term from practitioner study, the image of what it is we want. But at any rate, we've got to have that inner consciousness to come up with those creative words that have the power behind them. So think about your truth, the power that we all have, and our power of creativity. And as we go into the quiet, let's claim something new. We look at the world as it is today, whether it's our own little world, which is not unimportant, it's there, or we want to look something a lot bigger and broader. Whatever it is, look at that and claim something new. Paint that picture and plant it in your consciousness so that you can set the intention. For whatever it is you would rather have in that picture. Life, liberty, safety, security, happiness, peace, abundance, joy, sustainability. Whatever words you can come up with, weave them together. Put that puzzle together so that you have that beautiful picture. Take some slow, deep breaths. Breathe in. Let it out. One more slow, deep breath in. Exhale. One more. Breathe in. And as you exhale, ride that consciousness for all of that, all those pictures, all those things that you want to see come into creation. And keep following your breath. Ride that wave in and out of the breath.
Each breath is unique. Each breath is a gift. And even though they seem like they're all the same, it's a breath and another breath and another breath and another breath. Each one is a gift. Each one is crucially important in its own way. To prove this to yourself, stop for a moment. Skip a breath, or two, or three, and see what happens inside of your consciousness, inside of your physical body. It turns out that having another one is important. You're not having the last breath over again. Each one is fresh and new and different and unique. And that same gift is being given continuously in repeating patterns all the time. There's an infinite creative power that creates everything, that has created each of us. And it continues to give, it continues to share, it continues to offer itself up in whatever ways we claim that good to come into our lives. And if we're looking at that good and saying, yeah, it's the same as it's always been, then we're accepting the way it's always been, even though we are free to choose. And in fact, we are choosing every moment. We get to choose new. We get to choose fresh. We get to choose highest and best unfolding for each of us with love and ease. And that infinite creative power that creates everything, that law that responds to conscious intention, is responding to our conscious intention, each of us individually and all of us together. As we invite in that newness, as we declare our inalienable rights, as we choose that experience of health and comfort, of prosperity and creativity, of love and connection, of depth of spirituality, whatever it is that we're choosing, as we open ourselves to a turning away from whatever has led up until this moment, detaching from any power that the past has to dictate the future, we get to claim that newness, and that good starts filling our lives immediately. That's what's happening now. That's what's happening now for each of us. Good and more good is unfolding right now. Right now. And I'm so grateful for the wonderful ways that it's coming into experience. I'm grateful for the stories we get to tell. I'm grateful for the happiness, the joy, the uplift, the comfort, the health and vitality, the prosperity and creativity, the love that's filling us that we get to gleefully share. And so with gratitude for all of this good and more still underway, I speak this word of invitation and I release it into the creative law that has created everything. And I now know, on behalf of each of us, is creating this now. It's creating this next. It's happening. And so the feeling of thanks, I speak this word, I let it go, I release it into that creative law, and I know that it is so. And so it is. Take another deep breath. Allow your awareness to come back into your body, back into the world around you. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes, shrug your shoulders, and bring your awareness back into the world as Bernard does another song for us.
Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. It's all right. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. But here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. It's all right. Little darling, I see the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. the sun. Here comes the sun. It's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. It's alright. It's alright.
Beautiful, Bernard. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. So here I am, planting some seeds, offering up some ideas, quoting Thomas Jefferson, and being maybe abrasive or belligerent or loving or all of the above. So what seeds is that planted for you? Is there something that that's germinating, that's coming up for you that you'd like to give voice to today? If so, then this is the opportunity to say it in front of a loving audience and plant a new seed. Anybody something to share? The part that I didn't get to in the Declaration of Independence. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. Ouch. Again, talking about balance point. What's the balance point there? How much do you put up with? And when is it time to make a change? Karen Judd.
Reverend Bill, I want to thank you for this talk today. The way you wove together Thomas Jefferson's words, be impeccable with your word, new thought concepts as the way of going in and into our core and centered to show up and be who we can be for the highest good of all. And with my soul really needed this talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Thomas Jefferson did that a few times. He, if you're familiar with the Jefferson Bible, he basically took a Bible and he used a razor blade and he cut out all the parts that he thought were irrelevant and left just the parts he thought were important. And it's a very short document. So being able to, or being willing to do that in consciousness, to go through and cut out the stuff that doesn't fit your worldview or the way that you want the world to be, that's pretty bold. There were some people who thought that it was a little blasphemous to cut out parts of the Bible, and he didn't particularly care. Anybody else? Show of hands, who's going to have a barbecue sometime this weekend? Okay, claim you're good. Claim your truth. There's Jesus. He's going to everybody's barbecue today. Perfect. Sandy, you're up next.
New Thoughts Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We have a donate button on the website to make a donation by credit card or PayPal. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. We're grateful for every way you share. The offering affirmation is on the screen, and we'll say the affirmation together. I live in an abundant universe.
I am one with the infinite source of all good. I am a center of prosperity. I enjoy the riches of life. I bless my gift. I share my gift with gratitude and joy. I know that as I give, I do receive.
And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you. Mute buttons one more time. Bernard, I would love to have you, while your mute button is on, sing along. You need to unmute, Bernard.
Oh, you need me to unmute.
Well, if we want to hear your music, yeah.
So we can do whatever we want. What a day for a daydream. Custom made for a daydreaming boy. And I'm lost in a daydream. Dreaming about a bundle of joy. You could be sure that if you're feeling right, daydream will last long into the night. Tomorrow at breakfast, you better pick up your ears. You may be daydreaming for 1,000 years. I've been having a sweet dream. Been dreaming since I woke up today. And I'm lost in a sweet dream, baby. You're the one who makes me feel this way. And if time ain't really on your side, the daydream will last long into the night. Tomorrow at breakfast, you better pick up your ears. You may be daydreaming for 1,000 years. Y'all have a good holiday.
Thank you, Bernard. What a day for a daydream. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Independence Day weekend as we get to make a new claim, to claim our freedom, to create something new, to hold our own truth to be self-evident. Go ahead and unmute your microphone and repeat after me. I am love.
I am love.
I am light.
I am light.
I shine my light.
I shine my light.
I share my love.
I share my love.
And I hold my truth to be self-evident.
And I hold my truth to be self-evident.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is. Amen.
Woo.
Woo-hoo.
Oh.